Here's how I make Taiwanese beef noodle soup with shank, tendon and homemade noodles. For the broth, get yourself some marrow bones and meaty bones. Chuck them into a pot of hot water and bring to simmer, discarding it after around 10 minutes. This is to remove impurities. Rinse the bones, clean out the pot and cover them with fresh cold water. Add a sprinkle of salt, spring onions and sliced ginger. Bring to a gentle simmer, skimming off any foam that rises. Let it go for 12 to 24 hours, removing the spring onions a few hours in. Now remove all the bones and strain off the broth. If you have the time, fill it into a container and chill in the fridge. Now you can easily remove the hardened tallow from the surface. For braising, I'm using beef heel muscle as well as tendon. Roughly chop up your vegetables. I'm using onions, garlic, carrots, tomatoes and ginger. Add your beef parts to a pot of boiling water and simmer for a few minutes. Drain and discard that blanching water and give your meat and tendons a rinse. Now heat your reserved beef tallow in a pot, letting all moisture evaporate. Add your vegetables and start frying them off. Go in with doubanjiang and give it a good roast. You'll want to see some caramelization at the bottom of the pot. Deglaze with michu, cooking wine, tomatoes, light and dark soy sauces. Add some rock sugar before nestling in your meat and tendons. Fill up with beef stock and place it over medium-low heat. In a hot pan, toast your dried chilies, bay leaves, cinnamon stick, Chinese black cardamom, fennel seeds and Sichuan peppercorns. Add those to your braising pot and let it simmer for 2 to 3 hours. Turn the meat from time to time to keep it submerged. It's ready when it's easily pierced with and slides off a blunt object. It shouldn't be falling apart though. The tendons will need 1 to 2 hours longer until they're soft and jiggly. Strain off all the braising liquid and press it through a sieve as thoroughly as you can. Now optionally chill that liquid again to remove the fat. We'll need some of it later on. Mix together the intensely flavored braising liquid with the remaining plain beef stock. Heat it up and season it. Mine just needed a touch of salt. Optionally, you can strain the broth through some cheesecloth for an extra clear finish. For noodles, I'm using my standard alkaline noodle recipe. Roll the dough to the thickest setting and cut into lengths. Fold it over and use a knife to hand cut some nice thick noodles. Loosen them up and give them a massage, which will give them a craggly finish that's very fun to eat. An indispensable condiment are preserved mustard greens. Chop them into fine slices. Smash and chop some garlic. Briefly saute in hot oil before adding the mustard greens and seasoning with a generous amount of sugar. Add some of the brine. It should taste sour and sweet. Now you can slice up your beef. Cut the shank into nice and thick slices. Cut the tendon into similar lengths. I like reheating them by steaming over the broth. In the meantime, finely slice some spring onions for garnish. Ever so lightly salt a pot of boiling water for the noodles. Boil them QQ for around 2 minutes and plate up. Top the noodles with some of the reserved beef fat and spring onions before filling up with broth. Lay on beef and tendon, finishing with a spoonful of preserved mustard greens. Serve soy sauce and vinegar as condiments. This is an incredibly satisfying, warming and delicious bowl of beef noodle soup. The beef is super tender with some bite to it. The tendon melts in your mouth. The broth rich and fragrant.